hello, hello. It is yet another Monday, and you are once again up front with Frank Rothstein on skyscrescentradio.com. SKYES, crescentradio.com. Yes, Christmas is coming, and I've been promised as a gift, we're taking the E out of sky. It's just so confusing to me and my legions and legions and ones of fans. So I'm just broadcasting again. I'm going to catch you up with what's going on in the world and some of the more ridiculous stories. And believe me, besides everything you hear on the major networks and cable, there are plenty of people out there doing some ridiculous things. And maybe I'll just blend it all together like you do in a Cuisinart or something, whatever it is. Sitting with me as always, getting her sugar fix in the space of her universe. And I'm looking at her in front of the planet at night. It's always at night. She's a night creature. I'm sitting here with the musically inclined astronaut, Jade Zabrik. Hello, Jade. We're getting ready as we go into the holiday season. I was about to say Halloween. I'm still with that. For some reason, I don't know why, but Monster Mash was in my head today. You can catch up with Jade, of course, on skyscrescentradio.com as we broadcast live on Facebook at one of the many pages as Skies Crescent Radio, facebook.com/Skies Crescent Radio. Same website, /upfront with Frank Rothstein. You could leave comments, questions for us. That's great. You can also email me at any time at upfrontfrank@gmail.com. And if you'd like to know what Jade is doing with her band, the Trainwalkers, well, you can go to the trainwalkers.com. Trainwalkers.com. They'll tell you all the ins and the outs and what stops they're making along the line. The lineup keeps rotating and changing. Not people who are all in there. Different combinations depending on the venue. It always has a different sound and always a good sound. So that's what's weird going on here. We're now what? It's December 6th. Well, I'm in the midst of my Christmas shop. Now it gets to the hard gifts because some people you just don't know what to get for them. Kids are easy. You pretty much know what games they want. That's all they do is look at toy stores and their eyes light up when they see something they like. They'll tell you all year long what they want. You just have to put them up and put them back a little bit, push them off, push them back. Listen to a little bit of whining until Christmas comes and they all start screaming. But one thing about Christmas, I do miss playing Santa. I did that twice. I did it in a Little Italy Christmas parade. I know I've mentioned that a few times. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I'm not doing that anymore. Just worked out that way. Yeah, things change. So what is going on in the world today? Well, when I put my stories up in the order I want to read because I'm on my computer, well, I'm a nice little Jewish kid from Brooklyn. I can read from right to left. What is going on in the news? Normally, I try not to go with what's all over the news, but sometimes you can't help it. We all know about Chris Cuomo losing his spot at the CNN. We all know what's going on with his, with him helping out his brother and giving up information and basically doing, I understand it's his brother, but sometimes you got to, be a little more careful with what you're doing, especially if your family's involved. And it cost him. He gave up information. He was sort of working with his brother when then Governor Andrew Cuomo was having troubles during his time in the seat. Now, Chris, it came back to haunt him, and he's out of a job at CNN. He also quit his radio show at Sirius XM today, Sirius Radio. It turns out, it was announced today, that, or at least yesterday, that there were sexual allegations against him. Now, I'm going to go with, again, I believe everything she says. Before I even say a word, I'm going to believe everything. I always say the same. I believe everything that I'm hearing until I have a reason not to believe it. So if he did something wrong along the way, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, fine. What I am always, and you've heard me ask this many times before, is why now? And the reason I asked that is this happened when Chris Cuomo was an anchor for ABC's Good Morning America from 2006 to 2009. He was also, what did I say, served as an anchor of Network's 2020 before leaving in 2013. And this comes from an allegation from when he was at ABC Television. And this leaves me with, why now? I mean, he's been gone for 8 years. He was at the height of his job then for 3 years, 2006 to 2009. Whatever happened. But I'm trying to figure out why now? Because he could have been fired from CNN just for helping out the Cuomo administration. So I'm always wondering the why nows. That's all I'm curious about. How this thing settles either way, it's between them. You know, he did it, he didn't do it. That's between them. Somebody else gives me my same old stories on CNN at 9 o'clock. That's okay too. I can turn down the volume whenever I feel like. I'm just always wondering, no matter what the case, why now? Because the incident that's being mentioned happened in 2005. So it happened 16 years ago at a work party in an Upper West Side bar. And I guess he did it to a former boss. The claim is, he said, well, I guess grabbing her behind or whatever it is he did, I can do this now, you're no longer my boss. So I'm just, it was written that he apologized, he was ashamed of time, whatever. But anyway, so I'm always wondering why now? But that's just always the thing with me, because timing is everything with most things in the world. We know that. So I'm always, some things you got to tell about right, now. Some things you can talk about later on. I'm just always wondering why now? Because there's been years since this happened. It's been years. And he was already a primetime host on CNN. He left ABC and he went to CNN. You would think that somebody, his former boss, would send a message to someone that she knew at CNN and warning him about this guy. This is what's going on. I'm not sure why that didn't happen, or if it did, why it was ignored. But for years, Chris Cuomo has been on 9 o'clock every night saying, let's get into it, and talking about one story or another. And for years, does a pretty good job, as good a job as anybody else doing that, doing the work on CNN or any of the other cable news outlets. So I leave it with, why now? Well, maybe that'll be answered along the way. In the meantime, what can we do? You know what story really concerns me this week? Not something that happened with a human being. Medina Spirit. Does anyone remember who Medina Spirit is? Medina Spirit is the Kentucky Derby winner this year. Medina Spirit won the race, and the horse then failed the drug test after the race. And Medina Spirit's trainer, Bob Baffert, has been suspended for 2 years. We all know about that. And the horse, can't blame a horse, the horse, win was disqualified, the trainer suspended. Why am I bringing this up? Because it's been announced today that Medina Spirit has died during a routine workout at Santa Anita Racetrack in California. Santa Anita, the one that for the last few years I've been talking about, where over 30 horses. So we're gonna take a break from the time COVID shut everything down. So from the work time of the last, say, I don't know, Jade, what am I talking about now? Like going on 3 years? Over 30 horses have died at this track. A 3-year-old Kentucky Derby winner has died at a track where horses are consistently dying. And I don't know why this racetrack is allowed to stay open. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if it's the water, if it's in the air. I can't begin to tell you. And I think horses are great animals. Matter of fact, there's a dog outside that's pretty good. Nice lungs. It's horses are just great. Oh, shut up. Horses are great beasts. That's what they are. They're noble. They're regal. Sometimes they're just beautiful animals. And Derby winners are usually cared for, especially top level horses are usually cared for in a different way than the average circuit racetrack. They're just different. Why anybody would want to bring this type of a horse to Santa Anita racetrack, given its recent history, is beyond me. I can't even if I read every last word of this article. Yeah, cause of death is pending. Of course, they're going to do toxicology reports. They're going to do an autopsy. But now the horse tested positive for betamethasone following the Kentucky Derby. But that's a while ago. We're in December. That was May 1st. So I'm not sure what's going on. All I know is this horse did not die in New York at Saratoga, Aqueduct, Belmont, didn't go to any of the other racetracks around the world, didn't die at Churchill Downs in Kentucky, didn't die in a lot of places. It died at Santa Anita, where all the horses seem to be dying as of late. That angers me. That makes me crazy that this beautiful animal and any other horse that could be there could also be dying, and it's not over yet. Because all I know is I feel that racetrack should be closed, dug up, and tested for every grain of dirt, every drip of water in the pipe. I'd like to know what's going on there, that all these horses are dying at Santa Anita. And if you're in California listening to me, ask your locals, your local officials to look into it, please. This is a horrible thing. Next. Well, let's go out of order because I do like to mix things up a little bit, and I'll come back to something. I found an odd picture. A Ghanaian actress, Akuapem Polu, will be serving time for nude photo with her son. And this was a photo that was posted for the kid's 7th birthday. The kid is not nude. Let me say that first and foremost. The kid is not nude. I'm not quite sure. The caption on her Instagram page is, "Son, I love you and God is with you always. Be good till mommy comes back. God is in control always." That's her statement going to jail. We know she's nude because we see her from the side. So he's a 7-year-old kid. She looks like she has some height to her. So she's squatting down, she's like in a catcher stance, and her long hair is down. And we in a photo cannot see anything. This kid does not look shocked. It looks like he's been seeing, I don't know what goes on in the house, but it doesn't look like it's the first time he's seen his mom nude. But on the Ghanaian law, I guess she's going to get jail time. And she was found guilty in April. There was an appeal which failed. And yes, she is going for 90 days to prison. So, but it is odd, at least to me. And this is not child pornography. This is between mom and son. They're posting it for, They charge you with domestic violence and posting obscene material. I'm not sure what to make of this. I don't know that it's right, and I cannot speak for the beliefs of people in Ghana, so I can't tell you that it's wrong. But clearly, the way they're looking at each other, mom is squatting, kneeling, and sort of say, they're just looking at each other, and the cameras snap the picture, and they look very comfortable with each other. So I'm sort of wondering, how they normally live. And for all I know, this is part of it. Anyway, that's what's going on. It was odd. I started to talk about it. What else is going on? Oh, here, let's get to some stupid stories, please. We could use a couple of stupid. You know what? I don't want a stupid story yet. I'm saving it. Sometimes it's okay to save a stupid story. I was reading about restaurants that are saying they created a monster by emphasizing to-go orders and online orders during the pandemic. Now it's out of control because everything was shut down. A lot of people started ordering, and a lot of restaurants, coffee houses, restaurants, they're all doing to-go orders that they have trouble keeping up with. They're to, what does it say? Cheesecake Factory doubled them in 2021 to 3 million in sales per restaurant, all to-go orders. Thing is, finding workers can be pretty hard. That's one of the things. Yeah, you can find guys to deliver it. You can find people to make deliveries, but finding workers to help you keep up with it, that is the thing right now. So yeah, this is interesting. Trying to find some of these interesting numbers. Let me see. Yeah, it says U.S. consumers spent 14.3 more on restaurant and grocery purchases than in October 2019. But this is not really surprising, because even before COVID came around, before everyone stayed home, a lot of people were using the delivery services all over the country, all around the world, wherever it is. A lot of people are using delivery services, especially younger, the more frequent. Younger the order, the younger the customer base, the more frequent. It's not like I see a bunch of 22-year-olds running around to all the restaurants I walk by. Yeah, some, but not too many. Older people will go out to a restaurant, but even they order in. And a lot of them are doing it on DoorDash, on Uber Eats, on Seamless, and whatever other, it's just the way it is. What did I say? Cheesecake Factory managers now have the ability to temporarily close digital orders if needed. It's just getting out of hand. People are not going out as much. They're ordering more in. And as people who are younger maybe have their own first job, their own credit card, whatever they're doing on their own now, they're for sure ordering in. Then again, I remember a few years ago, I was talking to a delivery guy who was telling me that he made a delivery at some apartment somewhere, in Manhattan, and said there were 3 other delivery guys there with him. Everybody in the house ordered from their own place. And there you go. Yeah, there you go. And it's getting really tough. Let's say in mid-November, a group of 5 employees in Austin Chipotle quit their jobs. They couldn't take the workload. That's what's going on. So now it's becoming where new places opening up will be setting up shop, catering a lot more to go orders, which a lot of places do that now. Some, if they have a separate kitchen that they don't really use, may start using them. Existing restaurants will have to figure out a way to deal with it best. But, to go is the way to go, it seems. That's what's going on. Okay, what is this? Oh, my hero. Well, a few weeks ago, I was telling everybody that Superman's son came out as bisexual. But in England, the BBC is reporting Superman and Lois. This is a cool looking costume. Looks like a different material. It got rave reviews. Yes, there's a new Superman on television. I'm going to find this show. My hero. Not many people are faster than a speeding bullet and more powerful than a locomotive. I could look up in the sky and see a bird or a plane. He's always been my hero. He's bulletproof. He can do anything. Well, that's just me. Superman is being played by Tyler Hoechlin. Lois Lane is being played by Elizabeth Pollock. And they have a TV show in England. And Superman and Lois are back flying around doing their thing. Go Superman. Doesn't take much to make me happy. I'm easy. Okay, what else is going on? Okay, let's get some stupid, ridiculous. Let's get a nice story in. Because nice is all. I can use a little nice. I'm reading the other day. This is actually from yesterday. 3 sisters in Kansas reached the century mark at ages 104, 102, and 100. Yes, they did. They call it a blessing. And I think that's, let me get their names out of here. Julia Capriva, Frances Campos, and Lucy Pochop. Capriva is 104. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I was listening to this on the news, and one of the, they were talking about it. And one of the people covering the story made a very good point. Well, when they asked the ladies what they thought was the greatest thing in their lifetime, as an invention, one said transportation. One said a microwave, because I could see where that's easy. One said transportation, which I could believe that very well, because each one of them, remember, transportation meaning horse and wagon. They grew up in Kansas. They survived the Dust Bowl, the Depression, all kinds of storms with you couldn't just do things like you do it now. Yeah, they would say they remember when their father didn't have modern tractors. We took gasoline out in the field in 5-gallon buckets. Life was a lot different when they were kids. And they traveled a lot by horse and carriage or horse and wagon. However they did it. That means I remember when the first cars started coming to the Midwest. I think that's great. And they're all over at the century mark. So happy birthday to the ladies. And I wish them well. Okay. Here you got one. Let's talk about stupid. I got to do a little stupid. This is from yesterday. It's tough seeing a friend go, especially for motorcyclists who don't have their riding buddy anymore. That's why they removed their dead friend from a coffin from one last ride. That's it. They just wanted one last ride. A group of motorcyclists in Ecuador took the body of their dead friend from its coffin, put it on the back of a chopper, and leaned it against the driver's back, and a half dozen men cheered. That's according to the Daily Star. Images show Eric Cedinho's corpse poised to hit the road. Their friends claim they got his parents' permission. Cedinho, is 21, was shot dead last weekend on the way to a loved one's funeral. Police called it a spooky stunt. Me, I call it a bit ghoulish. But, I'm not quite sure how. I have a feeling that they just turned the motorcycle on, and because somebody had to hold this guy up. So looks like a friend is holding him up, and they're probably just putting around at a walkable speed so that the body doesn't fall over the floor. The police call it an unhealthy activity. I call it outright sick. So yes, that's it. You don't want your friends to go. Too bad they're gone. So let's just dig them up or just pull them out of a box. I think people are nuts. We're almost at the halfway mark. This is a story I'm glad it happened. Let me take a drink of water first. No iced tea today, people. Today I have my iced coffee. 60 degrees in New York City is my borderline. I can do the ice. New York City businesses told to pay up after not accepting cash. In New York City, it is really illegal to, or not thought well upon, to tell people credit card only. A lot of places do it. I am not a fan of it. And let me get to the name of the places that they're talking about here. This is they're focusing this time on upscale ice cream parlor. Van Leeuwen has been slapped with a $12,750 in fines in its New York City locations for not accepting, let's say, legal tender. It's one of the many merchants, say dinged, I like nailed for violating the year-old ban. I don't like when people do that. It says they've gone after, the city's gone after 23 businesses for violations. The Department of Consumer and Worker Protection received 152 complaints about cashless businesses across the city. So far, 16 have been found guilty by the city's Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings, and the fines total 23,850. Yeah, it's, first of all, there's only two reasons I could think of why a place would not want to take cash. Van Leeuwen is a large chain, as with many large chains. A is it's more convenient for the owners to have all their credit card sales funneled into one program. I can understand that. Two is you don't trust the employees near the cash, and you do not want them near your money. And you don't want them making mistakes, that's for sure. I mean, I remember working a cash register as a kid. I delivered for the local drugstore. I had my own video store. When you make change out of a cash register, you don't let the computer tell you. No matter what it tells you, you build it from the penny up. So your sale is $13.87. 3 pennies makes it 90, 10 cents makes it 14, a single makes it 15, grab 5 makes it 20, and there you go, you've made your change. You build from the penny up. Now people are so reliant on what their computer is telling them, and I've seen many who just can't add, who don't know how to make change, and they're staring at it if there's a problem, a glitch with the computer. So I could see why companies would not want employees near the money. Why I don't agree with this practice is you can always teach people how to make change. But more importantly, not everybody carries a credit card. Not everybody wants to put every last $3, $5 sale on their credit card. Not everybody wants to be bothered with that. I mean, you think about it. If you want to keep your credit card bills in check, in order, managed, not to get crazy on it. Just think about if you order 2 cups of coffee a day outside, you have to keep putting it on your credit card. Let's say you're paying $4 for a cup of coffee, large, which happens. You now have $8 a day in coffee. And let's say there's the average 30-day month. You now have, wow, $8 by 30. You now have $240 on your credit card every month. And you probably didn't realize you were doing. Wow. Wow. So, yeah. $8 a day by 30 days. Wow. That's incredible. Okay. Okay. That's just what I think about that. And again, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, so that's what's going on in the city. I think a lot of places, pizzerias refusing cash payments. I'm looking at this. It's also illegal, unless the rules have changed for retail shops, to put a limit on spending as far as how much you have to put on your credit card. Like a $10, $20, $10 minimum is usually the case. Except when I see people using their credit card to buy, say, a bottle of water, give it a break. Carry a couple of bucks in your pocket. You never know. You never know what kind of an emergency is going to happen. Carry a 20 in your pocket. Do something. Anyway, so that's what's going on with the credit card things in Manhattan. At least I call it Manhattan. Okay, let's get to some other crazy stuff here. I like this story. The headline is, this comes from December 3rd. The headline is, Italian man wears fake arm in crazy attempt to avoid getting the COVID-19 jab. He didn't want his vaccine, I guess. An Italian man thought he had an ace up his sleeve to circumvent his country's COVID-19 vaccine mandates, but he was busted when he showed up for his shot wearing a fake arm. The creative anti-vaxxer may have paid hundreds of euros for his silicone prosthetic, which he wore to the vaccine center in Biella, a town of northern Piemonte region near Turin. Why am I reading all that? That's according to The Guardian. The 50-year-old who sought to avoid the jab but still get the so-called green pass, signed the consent form and lifted up his sleeve. And the worker didn't notice anything at first. But when the woman touched the limb, she realized something was odd. Yeah, she's touching rubber. Wow. Well, I'm looking at this thing. So forget like sexual things like a dildo. This is an armdo. That's what it is. It's an armdo. A rubber arm. Oh, man. People are stupid. Do you actually think that medical professionals can't tell the difference between a real arm and a fake arm? And this looks like this is an intense thing. It looks like it put it on as this is like a bodysuit. I'm looking at this thing. This is a bodysuit. So from here to sternum, right? Here to sternum with a male physique. Here and a pretty well-defined male physique. Whoever modeled this thing worked out, took care of themselves. Okay, so from just around the chin to sternum, full sleeves. You must have been sweating up a storm. Oh, wow. People are stupid. I love them. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I didn't have some dumbasses around me at all times. It's getting interesting out in the world of Joel Osteen. Do all of you know Joel Osteen? He has the Lakewood Church. Big time evangelist, I guess. Well, in his Lakewood Church, a plumber went there to remove a loose toilet, and he had, of course, had to dig around, but instead found envelopes stuffed with cash and checks inside the wall 7 years after $600,000 was stolen from the church safe. And this, of course, came up during a radio segment with host George Lindsay on 100.3 The Bull. When a caller claimed he was doing repairs at Osteen's house of worship on November 10th, just a little while ago, and stumbled upon the hidden treasure, it says. He didn't keep any of it, of course. He's an honest guy. This is an honest guy. Did not want to keep what wasn't his. Could have pocketed all 500 envelopes. Nobody would have known it. But he gave it all back, turned it all in. All he had to do was replace or fix whatever was going on with the plumbing. Had to dig into the wall, move some insulation, and bang, there were the envelopes all over the place. Oh man, 600 grand. Well, now they're questioning Joel Osteen and everybody else involved. And if people are no longer working there from that time, they'll be calling them in also. Wondering how much more has been taken along the way. But there you go. Now, if you're taking money, why are you hiding it behind the wall? Whoever did this, why are you hiding it behind the wall? Checks. Checks are only good for a certain amount of time before they're just voided by expiration. Cash, well, okay. The hundreds today are as good as the hundreds from 7 years ago. Okay, no, okay. But I'm sort of wondering about why it's behind the wall with insulation. It's not easily accessible, except to a plumber. So, well, they got some troubles out there at the church. somebody was looking for, I don't know if it was someone, if it was Joe looking for a new jet, or some or somebody, some thief that did this and then had a heart attack. I really don't know what happened yet, but that's what's going on at the Lakewood Church. Oh boy, it's pretty good to pass the plate around. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at got this off of Reuters a few days ago. You know, artificial intelligence is making a lot of advancements. I am impressed by that. I'm looking at a human-like robot that wakes up. And this is what it is. It moves similar to that of a human. So you can see it looking at its hands, looking around, opening its eyes. It's not as fluid as a human. That needs refinement. They haven't exactly, well, clearly one looks like, one definitely looks like a female face. I can't tell if the other one's male or not, but it has the reactions of a human, like startled, it's blinking, it's moving. And I was thinking of the movie I, Robot and Bicentennial Man. And then I was thinking of a Star Trek episode. Everybody knows Star Trek Next Generation, and famous for their character Commander Data, the android, who wound up gaining sentience after a trial. Captain Picard is basically his lawyer during the hearing. And they were talking about, you know, one Commander Data, one android is unique, it's special. It's unique. It's what it is, one of a kind. But what happens when you create 100, 1,000 million? At what point does it go from being a creation to a race? Because it's not just having one. This will become a disposable race. They will take the place of humans. They will go into the most, of course, the most dangerous of jobs, the most dangerous activities. They will become a race of disposable beings. Now, they will be considered a tool, but as it looks and acts, as the device becomes refined, looks and acts more and more human. Yeah, it will become, once it starts, once it's, I guess, I mean, in sci-fi, you can do what you want, of course, but if this thing becomes refined where it can make its own decisions, like Commander Data, because most real inventions now come from sci-fi somewhere. A lot of them do. A lot of them come from Star Trek. The human-like robot right now, well, actors have played them in movies, but I've mentioned quite a few times. I remember it being in the Twilight Zone, and I mentioned it last week, the week before, and a prisoner was sent to living on a moon somewhere and for companion they gave him a female robot who pretty much looked and sounded like a human being, and he fell in love. So again, everything that we see, or most things we see, come from sci-fi. So I'm interested as to where this is going to go. And down the line, wow, I wonder what's going to happen. Well, we'll see. Okay, what else is going on? It's 5:41. I don't know why I tell people the time. It's more for me as like a little pace thing. Here's an odd one because people are just that dumb, really that dumb. A woman was caught breastfeeding her hairless cat on a Delta Airline flight. This is from December 2nd, just a few days ago. A woman who took a Delta flight recently wasn't kidding around when she whipped out her breast and started feeding her hairless cat. The unidentified female flew from Syracuse, New York to Atlanta, Georgia, when she was caught breastfeeding her feline on the plane. A flight attendant told her repeatedly to stop and put her back in the cage. However, the woman refused. A message was sent through the aircraft communications addressing and reporting systems. Excuse me, let me say that a little smoothly. A message was sent through the aircraft communications addressing and reporting system, ACARS, to alert the Delta crew in Atlanta that a passenger in seat 13A was breastfeeding the cat and will not put the cat back in its carrier. Well, that is sick. Hairless cats. I don't know. I was never a lover of hairless cats. They're cats. You know, they do the same cat stuff, but I like mine with a little bit of hair on it. So anyway, of course, this made a viral video. Everything does. It goes to TikTok, it goes to YouTube, it goes here, it goes there. I'm not quite sure why she had to hold her cat blanket like you'd hold an infant, but all right. And why she was breastfeeding her cat in the first place, but all right. And oh man, everybody says no to the flight attendants. So all I see is one video or another where everybody says no to the flight attendants. I don't know why. I don't know why. They're the ones who are going to tell you what to do in an emergency, bring you your drinks on the plane. This is so dumb. I love so dumb. Delta does allow small dogs, cats, household birds to board a domestic flight, but they must be able to fit into a small ventilated pet carrier. That's not a lot to ask. A box with a screen. This is not a lot to ask. Okay. Okay, maybe it's good for the cat's mental growth also. No wonder I drink water. I wish it was vodka. I really do. This is hysterical. I'm telling you, I do get a laugh out of some of the things I read here, some of the stories. I may be tripping over my own tongue once in a while, which I get a laugh out of also. But some of this stuff, wow, it is creative. It really is creative. So, you know, that's just what's going on. It is 5:44. I wish I had more stupid stories like this, but today I just wasn't looking at them all as much. I've been busy doing all my stuff. My scale is moving counterclockwise, people. Down another few. I'm settling into a few pounds down. This is going good. I'm a happy guy. My goal is to get my doctor to remove one of my prescriptions, one of my medications that I take. That's my next game. Numbers, I always like the number part of it out. My scale every day. I take my sugar twice a day. Not that I need to take my sugar twice a day, but to test it because I already know what's going on. But it's like I like the numbers. I like playing with numbers that way. That way I can, keep myself interested. I like playing with my scale every day. I know a lot of people say, well, you're not supposed to get on the scale every day. It stresses you out. It doesn't stress me. It's, matter of fact, it keeps me in check. And I'm down a few extra pounds, which is good. I like that. Not that anyone out there, it's not really newsworthy, but it's my newsworthy, so I like to talk about it. I'm going to get into my jacket. I have two jackets I want to get into. One, I'm getting ready to have the jacket, the leather buffed up, polished up, and pretty much the jacket needs to be woken up. But I'm going to get into it. So I just need to add on some exercise now. I got to where I wanted to. And now it's time to, a little screw into it now and see what we can do. Fool my body a little bit. Have a little fun with it. And then, see where it goes. Can't take those E's off the width of my foot. I'm still a 12.4 E, but you do the best you can with here and there. I'm getting a little greedy with buying belts. Some of those belts I'm buying really don't fit, but I can hold my breath for 8 hours a day. It has to look good. So we'll see what goes on with that. And then everything else is going pretty well. Again, I'm going to say what I said last week. It's Christmas shopping time. In my neighborhood, things are going okay. I do a lot of business in the Soho area of Manhattan, down there quite frequently. I don't see a lot of people in the stores. I do not know how a lot of these places, even if the big even the master company, the major part of the office, the main office can afford these massive rents, I don't know why they would want to pay it just to have the Soho address. I just don't understand. There's no way that the retail shop itself is paying its way. Yes, I know advertising can cost a lot of money also, so why not have a store to go into? But damn, I don't want to see Soho become a ghost town, but certainly rent should come down. And I don't know, people, again, everybody's shopping online, a lot of online shopping. Restaurants are not just having a problem. A lot of retail outlets are suffering also because people are ordering everything from one online site or another. But again, no matter where you get your stuff from, if you're buying presents for people, just keep in mind my usual thought. It is the thought that counts, but even the thought takes a little thought. So this year I'm putting some thought into it. Some of them just went into my head. A few of them are a little more difficult, but I'll figure it out. I usually do. Some maybe this year I'll have some fun with it. You try to get something nice and it doesn't always work out. Maybe I'll have a little fun and see what I can do with it. And I'm sure it'll all go over pretty well. But everybody, please put a little more thought into what's going on. I don't care how much it's not a matter of budget. No matter how much or how little you can afford, don't just buy anything. Yeah, I'm going to give you a piece of paper towel. Don't do that. Just put a little thought into it. And you'll find there are plenty of nice things you could buy for minimal amount of money. Remember, even if you give a bottle of wine, you do not have to spend a fortune to get a good bottle of wine. There are people with great wine palates. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're tasting, but they have been fooled between a $20 bottle of wine and a $2,000 bottle of wine. It's port wine works sort of the opposite way. There's a reason why certain port wines cost more than others. But regular wine, you can find plenty of good stuff. You do not have to spend a fortune of money to do it, and it will probably be greatly appreciated. And if you have somebody who smokes cigars or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Just put a little thought into the thought. That's just how I view it. Well, let's see. Music. What am I doing for music these days? I was very happy last weekend listening to my favorite band, Mavericks. They had 2 concerts on the Nugs website, NUGS, whatever, Nugs. And so for $20 a night, I got to watch the Mavericks sing their hearts out with their guests and their opening acts. And I was a very, very happy guy. Then I was watching boxing all week, and it was really good. It was a good weekend for lightweights. Very interesting fights. And everything's going pretty well. So here, well, I'm not sure if we're going on next week or not. I'm seeing what the holiday plans bring for me and what Jade's holiday plans are bringing for her. So I'll be posting about that on my Facebook page. Again, facebook.com, up front with Frank Rothstein, and we'll let you know what's going on. I want to be fair to everybody. I don't want anybody showing up to anywhere with a blank page. And of course, oh, please, before I forget, you can find all the shows for Sky's Crescent Radio on YouTube. YouTube.com, Sky's Crescent Radio, SKYES. Go on there, please. Look at all the shows. Every view helps. Please subscribe. That helps a lot also. Please subscribe. And, share it with a friend. Tell a friend. And write into me upfront, frank@gmail.com. I address all these little questions. I love every last question. I don't get offended if you tell me something you think I don't want to hear. I'm pretty easy. What is this story here? Oh, this is good. Since I'm talking about Christmas, I almost forgot to mention it. I got this off of BBC. The Natural History Museum in London. Well, it's Christmas time, not because we have a tree in Rockefeller Center or those annoying songs come on the radio every 2 seconds. No, because the T-Rex The Tyrannosaurus Rex at their Natural History Museum in London got a Christmas sweater. Yes, it got a Christmas jumper. It's a sweater. It's horrible. The T-Rex looking all nice and tough with his little arms hanging out of this little sweater. Well, listen, everybody has to get into the spirit, right? Now they're going to probably put some speakers in its mouth and make T-Rex sing Christmas songs. I don't want that either. Oh, man. I'm sending you that story, Jade. You're going to see a dinosaur in a sweater. And everything else is going pretty well, people. I got to keep track of how many shows I've got under my belt. Yeah, I've been doing this over 5 years now. Wow. Well, we're going to make a few adjustments after the holiday. We'll work on it. Maybe I'll paint my voice a different color. Maybe I'll buzz my head. Let it grow. Well, I'll do something. Maybe I'll let it grow longer. We're going to get into my jacket, people. I am obsessed with my jacket. See my finger pointing? I'm obsessed with my jacket. And maybe I'll find some new bracelets for myself. Any suggestions on new silver bracelets for me, please send me a picture of frankfrank@gmail.com. That way, when Jade goes out and buys me my bracelets, because she loves me so much, I will be so appreciative. Let's have a little zing to it, a little something to it, and we'll get a little style going on. Okay, I guess we're about done. Otherwise, I will just keep rambling about every last thing on my desk. And yes, I do have still lots of flashlights. Everybody have a great week. I'll let you know if we'll be on next week. I will certainly post about it. We'll post about it on the Skies Crescent Radio Facebook page. And I will post about it on my Upfront page. And that way, everybody will be in the loop. Okay, people. Enjoy your dinner. I'll see you next week. Have a good night.